I want to, just stay with me, ma'am, because you are right. There was no remorse, and they're open to approach the Maharashtra courts. But I want to also bring in another petitioner. Ms. Jaising, of course, fought the case for petitioner Mahua Moitra. We have now Meera Chadha Barwankar. She's a former IPS officer, and she was one of the petitioners in this case. And one of what Ms. Jaising said, the ring that the women movements put together to safeguard a very vulnerable Bilkis. Appreciate you joining us, Ms. Chadha, and congratulations, you were one of the petitioners. What made you, ma'am, stand up for Bilkis?
So there was an incident when I was the district police chief in Satara, where an old woman came from a very drought-prone area called Maswa. She banged on my office table and she said, I want justice and I will get justice. When Bilkis Bano's case, I would read in the newspapers that how she stood by her deposition in the court after having gone through an extremely brutal experience of having lost her 3-year-old child, having been gang raped, and the convicts being involved in 14 murders, including 6 of her own family. I thought this is a case where remission should not have been given. I was the prison chief of Maharashtra, state of Maharashtra, and I know when you can give remission and when it's not done. Therefore, I thought some of us, I must say that I'm grateful to Professor Jagdeep Chokar, Madhu Bhandari ma'am, and Brinda Grover, our advocate, who took up our case pro bono, did not charge us a penny, and thought, yes, this is a grave injustice to Bilkis, to all women. I may say to the whole humanity that we are giving remission to 11 convicts involved in a gang rape, involved in 14 murders, including of a 3-year-old child.
Ma'am, there's been severe indictment of the Gujarat government as well. The top court of the country has made scathing accusations where the Gujarat government's role in all of this is concerned.
See, I have not gone through the order as such. So I would like to comment, but at many places I found over-enthusiasm, which I feel is not done. We have to be logical, rational, and the punishment has to be, as Supreme Court has repeatedly said, proportionate to the kind of crime for which a convict is punished. And I thought this was disproportionate, and I very often felt there was unjustified enthusiasm.
I want to now go into the next petitioner. She's also been a big activist in the Bilkis Bano case. Ms. Roop Rekha joins me. Roop Rekha ji, सबसे बड़ा इसमें जो समाज के लिए मैसेज जा रहा है वो क्या है?
देखिए, मैसेज तो बहुत ही दुखदाई आ रहा है. देश के लिए बहुत शर्म की बात है इसमें जो संदेश इस फैसले से आ रहा है. गुजरात के बहुत से दूसरे भी मामले ऐसे पहले उठ चुके हैं जिसमें कि देश को शर्मिंदा होना पड़ा है, और अब तो गुजरात ही नहीं दूसरे भी तमाम इलाकों से हिंसक घटनाएं हो रही हैं और हमें बार-बार शर्मिंदा होना पड़ रहा है.
From Roop Rekha ji, I want to move on to Subhashini Ali, who's also joining us. First up, congratulations, ma'am. Congratulations to all of you. You've all been petitioners in this case. And today, if we've had this verdict, it's come at the back of what you've also done to fight the good fight for Bilkis Bano. The question is, it is indeed historic, the verdict, especially because the Supreme Court has reversed its own verdict in a way to deliver this one. But the question I want to ask you, ma'am, which I asked Roop Rekha ji, after all of this, after the big fight, which many of us, whether we like it or we don't like it, looked the other way, when the perpetrators of the crime were called sanskari men when they were garlanded, what is the larger message which is going out?
Well, I think that the message that goes out is a much more serious message. And that message is that why is the government of Gujarat, and also aided and abetted by the government of India, standing so firm and going to such lengths to protect, aid, such absolutely terrible criminals who have committed a crime against humanity. They have gone to the extent of going beyond their jurisdiction in order to give remission to these people. And they have fought for them and for this remission in every way that they could. They have come to the Supreme Court, both the state government and the central government, with a battery of lawyers and with the entire state judicial machinery, simply to protect these people, to ensure that their remission goes unchallenged. And they have repeatedly tried to prolong the matter so that this kind of judgment does not come. Now, my question is why? Why have they done this? What is the reason for them to come out so hard and strong in defense of criminals who should just not find any supporter anywhere for the kind of crime that they've committed? The Constitution says, civilization norms say that governments should protect the weak, they should protect the victims, they should protect those who have been abused, those who have been subjected to violence and to incidents like rape. So why has the government not done it? They have done nothing to help Bilkis Bano. From the time that this horrible incident occurred, in which her baby daughter was killed in front of her, she was gang raped. From that time onwards, she has been fighting a battle against not only the perpetrators of the crime, but the government. They did nothing to help her for 8 years. The case had to be shifted to Maharashtra to get a judgment against them, a conviction. And after that conviction, they regularly gave parole to those criminals, and now they gave them remission. After giving them remission, when everybody was shocked by this remission, they went to, they went all out with the help of the central government to see that the remission was not challenged and to keep these people out of jail. My question is why? That is the big question in this case.
You know, ma'am, if you would just wait a while, I want to bring in Meera Chadha Barwankar once again into this conversation because, Ms. Barwankar, the fact is, you've been an IPS officer. You've dealt with so many of such cases. You've been a petitioner at the back of that. You did not know who Bilkis Bano was, but it touched a chord where you wanted to be a petitioner and follow it legally. Because, there's one thing to feel it, there's one thing to follow it through. All of you have been able to do that. What is the positive of it all? Because at one end, it raises very strong questions where India's judicial or criminal justice system comes into being. But on the other hand, it also gives out a very positive message, but yet raises questions where the society comes into question.
So both. There is indeed a positive message. In fact, I had discussion about a week back when we came to know the case will come up for final order, where a very straightforward bureaucrat told me that you are fighting a losing battle. So this kind of negative emotions and negative propaganda can be set aside by such positive orders, judgments. But yeah, we have to not to be satisfied with one single order. We have to see the whole system, and also many times one feels it's not in repair or patchwork which will help. Ultimately, we may even have to go in for the overall of the whole criminal justice system.